Welcome back. I'm here with Leslie Moonves, the CEO of CBS at their Studio City Television Center here in Los Angeles. Les, I wanted to ask you to finish up by this talk about advertising. There are a lot of big reports and studies, including Jack Myers of the Jack Myers Report, and they argue that advertising just is not going to recover over the next 5 years to its old highs. For example, he's forecasting that network broadcasting advertising revenues are going to fall by about $4 billion, or about 20% between 2007 and 2010. And then when you look at it across syndication, local, and then a broadcast network, it's going to fall even more dramatically. What are your thoughts on that? Could they be right? I mean, it's a lot of studies.
You know, there are a lot of studies. I've also seen studies that refute that. You know, Jack Myers is great. He hasn't been right all the time. We are seeing trends in all of our businesses from 6 months ago that show improvements in every single sector. So we're seeing advertising coming back. Once again, premature to say the worst. You know, it's not premature to say the worst is over, but it's premature to say, oh, gee, it's never coming back. We're seeing improving trends across the board. That's all I can tell you right now, and we're encouraged.
But you're still in a declining phase. It's fair to say that advertising revenues at CBS will still likely be down this year, and
they're down this year, but they're a lot better than they were. Our third quarter is better than our second quarter. Our second quarter is better than our first quarter.
And
our first quarter will be better than our fourth quarter.
They'll be down, but better?
Well, we don't even know if they'll be down in the first quarter.
Let's talk about other issues. News reports out over the weekend said that Vivendi may sell its 20% stake in NBC Universal, which might end up spinning off entirely, which makes them vulnerable potentially as a takeover target. How does this affect you? Does it play to your advantage?
Oh, I don't think it affects us one iota. NBC Universal is a terrific company. They have the NBC television network, so whatever Vivendi does doesn't affect us much.
How about in terms of a lot of people argue that there could be a lot of assets potentially available for sale, a lot of very prime small cable networks within NBC Universal that a lot of players, including CBS, might be interested in?
I would think that NBCU's cable assets are very valuable to them. They've even said that that's more important to them than their network. I don't see them selling them off one at a time and any other company being able to pick off some of the cable assets of NBCU. You know what? We're always looking at possibilities to add. We are a content company first and foremost. We like being a content company. If there are any opportunities there, we obviously would look at them. But I don't foresee any major acquisition on our part in the near future.
Because I think you said, although your primary goal maybe is buybacks and dividends, investing in the company, that if an attractive cable acquisition came up, it's something that you would look at very carefully.
Well, once again, we're not stating what we're going to do with our cash. Obviously,
come on, you can tell us.
There are different ways to spend your money. We're always looking at, what's out there, what's available. We'll look at everything. But as I said, I don't foresee anything in the near future.
Disney doing something with its cash, the last month, paying $4 billion
for Marvel. Yeah.
Did you see this at the beginning of a wave of more media deals as the economy picks up?
Who knows? Marvel is a very interesting content asset, and Disney has stated that they're interested in franchise tentpole movies, and that's why the Marvel acquisition made a lot of sense for them. It's going to be a very interesting time right now, as we come out of the recession, to see what happens in the media space.
Because assets are real cheap now. You want to buy them, you better buy them now because they're going to be a lot more expensive later.
Some of them are cheap, some of them are still overpriced, and right now we like the hand that we have.
Well, a lot of people say that Disney overpaid for Marvel.
I think
people say that price tag?
I think people say that about every acquisition ever made over the course of time.
Okay, we'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's talk about your stock price. One thing that strikes me is that investors have pushed your stock up triple the pace of the S&P 500. That speaks for itself in terms of their optimism about the future.
Right.
2/3 of the analysts who cover company rate it sell or hold. There are concerns like revenues, I think, have fallen for a 5th year in a row. Earnings are going to fall 70% this year. They're worried that advertising is yet to recover, that the big media model's outdated. Right. Okay, how do you answer this?
By the way, with all due respect, I don't think 2/3 of the major analysts have us on hold or sell. Over the last 6 months, I think you've seen a major change in a number of analysts going from sell to hold and hold to buy. And frankly, the analysts who said buy at $5 a share are really happy today. And the analysts that said sell or hold at $5 or $6 a share are not too happy with their prediction of what would happen to our stock now that we're over $12 a share. So once again, analysts are entitled to their opinion. I think the market has reacted to how our company is performing, to the idea that we are a company, as you said, that is dependent on advertising. Advertising is getting better. And I think a number of the analysts have changed to a much more positive outlook on the CBS Corporation.
I think some of them have, including I think Laura Martin at Soleil. But I think that actually two-thirds actually still do rank at a seller or hold. But you're arguing, obviously, if you look at the stock price, they're wrong.
Well, as I said, I dispute the two-thirds if you count the major players.
Okay.
You know, there are a lot of people out there who write blogs. Look at the major players and see who's improved their, we got an upgrade today from Macquarie. Okay.
Let's go to another. You said we were talking about overpriced acquisitions, and you and I know I did want to talk with you about CNET, an internet acquisition, which you paid $1.8 billion for last year. I was struck by the fact in the past few months that a number of analysts and investors have been highly critical of Jeff Bewkes at Time Warner, also of Rupert Murdoch at News Corp, also you for very expensive acquisitions. When I talk with Larry Haverty at Gemco Investors, they own CBS shares. He says, Les has a problem explaining why he didn't pay too much for CNET. And obviously, I know you feel very different about that. What are these critics missing?
Okay, a year and a half ago, the main criticism of CBS is we're an old media company. Too much radio, too much television. Any media company in this age needs to be very proactive in the internet, in the interactive space. We could build and wait for years and be behind the curve, or there was an opportunity to acquire what we felt was a growing company called CNET, which is a company that we are very happy we bought. It fits very nicely into who we are. We're now one of the top 10 internet companies in the world right now by this acquisition. We are a player in the vertical premium content areas that this company is known for. That's sports, that's news, that's entertainment, that's technology, that's business, that's music.
And we got about 20 seconds to break, but also you've even gotten money off the NCAA March Madness tournament. I think you raised $30 million in revenue from online sales,
correct.
Right?
Online March Madness on demand raised $33 million last year, found money that dropped right to the bottom line. So we are now a player in the interactive space, and frankly, I wouldn't want to be the CEO of a major media company that didn't have a major presence in the internet, and we now do.
Okay, Leslie, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about the outlook for the CBS Evening News, more on the company's strategy, where Leslie Moonves is going to get the company's future growth. So we're going to be back in a few minutes. Don't you go away. We're here on Bloomberg Television with Les Moonves.